Hello everyone, my name is Savannah Martinez, and today I'm going to be discussing with you Chapter 12, Interpersonal Persuasion. The topic that I'm going to be specifically addressing today is called Door in the Face. I'm going to explain what it is, give you an example of it from my personal life, and then teach you how to apply it in your everyday life. Door in the face is one of the many persuasion tactics you can use in order to get people to bend to your will, but in an indirect way. Unlike foot in the door, where you ask for a small request and then ask for a bigger one, door in the face is the exact opposite. Essentially, you ask the person for a large request, one which they will most likely deny and feel bad about. And then using that guilt, you ask them for a much smaller request that they'll most likely agree to. To go ahead and apply this tactic to everyday life, I'm going to give you an example from my own personal life. So as you know, being a college student is not easy. Especially when it comes to money, college is just really expensive. And I personally have a job. I do full-time school and work, but sometimes unforeseen things happen and times get tough. And my pride is one of those things where I hate asking people for money. But this particular situation I'm about to tell you, this tactic that I described works really well. So about 2 weeks ago, my radiator in my car decided it was gonna stop working on me, and my car's already been having problems, so this was another one, and money was just not in my favor. So pride aside, I decided that I was gonna ask my mom if she could help me pay for a new radiator because I need my car to get around. I guess I could take the bus, but it's just easy. It would have just been easier to kind of suck it up and pay for the radiator. So applying this tactic, applying door to the face to this particular situation, I decided that I was going to ask her to pay for the entire thing, knowing full well that she was going to say no. So once she said no, as I knew she would, I decided that that was the time to strike, if you will, and I asked her, well, if you're not willing to pay for the entire thing, would you consider going half with me? And at first she was kind of reluctant, but ultimately she agreed that that was a little bit more reasonable for her to do. So now that I have discussed the experience, I will make some inferences. Although I did feel bad for having to ask my mom for help with the financial situation that was out of my control, I realized that this particular tactic is for emergencies only. I'm not going to just going around asking for favors all the time, but ultimately that its effectiveness was pretty high. Now that I have made some inferences, I will discuss how these inferences can be transferred into other situations. So it's clear to me that in order for this particular tactic to work, you need to have your original request ready to go as second, but keep your first request similar but more unreasonable to where the person you're asking denies your request while feeling just guilty enough to agree to your second one. As kind of scummy as this is about to sound, I'm taking this from the book, more or less paraphrasing. If you happen to need this technique, remember to ask for the second request shortly after the first in order to capitalize on the guilt that person may be feeling, and always go from a large to a small request to ensure that you are using door in the face as the technique. In conclusion, the door in the face tactic is effective because of the when and why aspects. The when would be during a time that evokes emotion concerning pro-social issues or upon asking a favor from someone else. The most important part of that would be that both of the questions, the large and small, need to be asked by the same person, otherwise it really lowers your chance of it working. Then the why would be that it works mainly off of the guilt that the person feels from saying no, along with the self-preservation aspect, that being that the person you're asking the favor of, tells you no, and they don't want you to think negatively of them, so they won't say no again. So ultimately, they're agreeing so that they can save face. I hope that my explanation helped you understand this particular tactic, and thank you so much for watching.